Hey, podcasters. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the Riot. This is our final podcast that's normal. And then tomorrow we hit our RadioU fundraiser.
Yeah, we do. So, Nikki, what do I got here for us? We start right off with a lady that doesn't like me. And
it makes you feel bad. It was really probably just purely her bad day, but it still makes you feel bad.
I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to be.
Can't do anything.
I don't know how to be more likable. I don't know what about me projects unlikableness. Something.
Just it is what it is.
Maybe I just have a bad resting face or something. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be that way.
Aww.
We talk about the car thing for Spotify. We get a lot of dates wrong for film releases. So
Did you put that in there?
I did.
You have to put both in there because we need the fixing one.
I did. It starts out wrong, it gets fixed. It's just one of those things where I was like, this feels very Riot to me.
It does. Put it in there.
Let's hear it. We talk about electric earbud washers, the Oculus Quest 2. You can hear us justify stealing snacks from the fundraiser pile, how to get Godzilla, McDonald's French fry problems and COVID change.
Yeah.
Or climate change. And then COVID, a woman ends up getting it like 14 times. So.
Oh, this poor Alaskan lady.
Yeah. So that there's a couple other bonus items in the mix.
There's the show. Enjoy. Don't forget to check out before tomorrow, RadioU.com/donate. Maybe you can help donate to keep our podcast going. Otherwise, text and say, hey, 877 to RadioU. We will still be sending out podcasts during our fundraiser. It'll just be shortened and it'll include some worst of riots.
Okay.
Enjoy the day.
Bye.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the riot.
We've established this in the past on the show many, many times, but it seems to me that one of my single greatest gifts, like the thing that is just, that's a real Obadiah thing to do.
Yeah.
Is to say the right thing at the wrong time. Or one might refer to it as just saying the wrong thing.
Sure.
I'm good at it. Gifted even, really. And I don't. The sad part is like I'm actively trying not to. Like, I start my days like, oh God, please help me to be good to people, to be careful what I say. Like, I'm asking for help. And today I decided was a gas station cuisine day because, things are moving up in the world. Living a fancier lifestyle. So I stopped by the gas station to get something to drink and something to eat. And there are these little things. They call them stuffers. They're glorious.
Oh, the breakfast things.
It's a little breakfast thing. I love them. And I don't get them often.
Sure.
So I was like, I'm going to go get them. So I got there and they weren't out. They were like behind the counter. And so I was just like, oh, hey, are those done? I'd really like to get one. That was the worst possible thing I could have probably said.
Well, now that doesn't seem so bad.
I made that lady so mad.
Why?
When I asked for them. I've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
I've had about a half an hour drive to mull this over just a little. Yeah.
Sure.
And so my thought was, well, if somebody came in and you're in the middle of working and they interrupted you and you're trying really hard to get these things out, but they weren't out fast enough for this guy who can't shut up and has to come in. Here, Tubbs, have your sausage. Now leave.
I think that's a bit drastic.
Is it?
But maybe not for her.
Is it?
Did you get one, or are they just not ready?
One.
Okay.
She gave it to me.
Sometimes people don't like to be interrupted in their job, even though that's the whole.
The job is being interrupted.
The job is someone comes in and buys something. So
right.
I've totally had that.
Yeah, I just it could be. I've done some reading, and it could just be that I'm overly sensitive.
Sure.
Like, for example, her getting frustrated, I should be like, what do I care? Just give me the sandwich. I'm leaving.
Maybe she was just showing her emotions wrong. Like, she wasn't really frustrated at you.
It could be.
It was the stuffers.
It's another thing. Like, she could have been really mad about something. I just happened to be standing there, and I felt the emotion, even though, I really wasn't the cause of the emotion.
But you felt it?
Right. But I just thought, I thanked her. She ended up back up at the front. And I was like, hey, okay, this is dumb, but this is something I've started doing is when I get food, I thank people not for bringing it to me, but for feeding me. I was like, hey, thanks so much for making my breakfast. She didn't like that.
Oh, she didn't like that either. All right. Well, it's just a no-go.
I was trying to be nice, like, hey, today, because of what you've done, I get to eat. Thank you.
Makes it worse, right?
I guess. She was very much like, you know what? I hate this guy. I hate this place.
Take the stuffers.
Why is he talking to me again? How would you feel if I came to your house and started talking to you about what's behind your counter?
Well, I mean, at least you got your food and your drink, and you didn't do anything wrong.
I wanted to be nice.
I bet you were.
I don't think I was. I'm a bad man. But, I mean, you guys knew that, so it's cool.
But now you're a bad man with a full tummy. And a soda, and you're all fine.
Preach.
The worst of the worst. Are you ready? The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
Spotify. Anybody? Nikki, use Spotify?
I used to use it, and then I switched.
What do you use now?
I use YouTube Music.
Yeah, me too.
Because it already comes with it.
But I got Spotify on one of their get 4 months for $9.99 deals.
Sure.
Mostly because it integrates so well with my PlayStation. So, I load a playlist, play a round of fake golf. It's good.
So basically that's the only reason why.
I mean, yeah, that's some throwing some money away right there, but it's a thing. So Spotify yesterday showed off a little something they call the car thing. So here's the idea. They say that the average American has an 11-year-old car.
Oh, really? Oh, so your car might not have as many smart functions with it as other people assume a car would.
Right. And so they say, hey, maybe you've got an aux jack or this. But what this does is this is designed to be a little Spotify control system that you can mount to your dashboard. They've got a special mount that goes in a vent, like an air vent.
Oh, okay.
I know people do that, but I want the air.
Yeah, it does block it, doesn't it? I mean, it's weird. Because some people do that with their phone.
Yeah, that thing's there to get me air. I don't need less air. I want more air. I want to cut another hole in the dashboard just so there's more air conditioning blowing on me.
Maybe they're in an area where it's temperature-wise, they don't really need anything.
It's possible. I mean, I've never been there, but it's possible. And so, essentially, this gives you a Spotify car interface that also allows you to communicate with Spotify via voice. You can say, hey, Spotify. And I got the option to do that on the app the other day. They're like, hey, would you like us to be listening to every conversation you have for the word say Spotify?
Sure.
So I haven't seen a price on this thing anywhere. And it's not necessarily available to everybody yet. You have to have a Spotify, what do they call it?
Like a premium membership?
A premium membership, yeah, which is minimum, I think, of $10 a month. And I guess they're making it available to current subscribers. And then if it goes well, they may open it up so that you could also subscribe.
You can join an official waiting list.
Yeah.
If you want.
One of the hooks is it looks exactly like a phone.
Yeah.
Except it has a power button and a volume knob.
That volume knob is... It's big.
Is it weird that it somehow appeals to me that it has a volume knob?
It does? It's just so big.
I agree with you, but there's something about it. You turn up the volume.
Just looks like an old iPod, touch sort of thing. And you stick it in your air vent, and then that's your screen to run your music.
Okay. In order to do this, you have to have a phone.
Yeah, sure.
So, your phone Bluetooths to the Spotify car thing, which is what it's called. And it feeds your... What? Why don't I just...
You feel like it's an extra step?
Yeah. Why don't I just use my phone?
That still works with your stereo, with your speakers, right? And they're just saying some cars don't have that technology.
Yeah, but they're saying that the way that this thing is going to connect to your car, unless I'm just really missing it, is through an aux jack or Bluetooth or...
So, at least you get a screen, though, that makes it feel like it's your screen on your radio. Which, again, if you have an 11-year-old car, there's not much there.
Okay.
So you won't have to use your phone.
I see your point. But, again, why not just mount your phone to the dashboard?
Well, then how are you watching your movie? No, just teasing. I'm looking at you, person I'm always behind in the morning.
Boy, that's
how
true.
you watching something?
But, I mean, seriously, though, I just look at this, I'm like, this is basically a phone with a volume knob. Why put the extra step in? Because it even... Spotify has a car interface. So if it senses that you're driving or whatever, it just switches to that and it looks like this.
I don't know. Don't listen. You're not supposed to actually think about it. You're just supposed to like it or not like it, or need it or don't need it.
No, I actually think it's cool. Like, I could see myself, if I had turned my brain off, I could see myself really wanting this thing. But since I've made the mistake of thinking about it.
You're not supposed to. They're really trying to push podcast. So it's more of a podcast thing too.
Well, what?
Did you say pricing on it?
No, I haven't seen a price yet.
Its anticipated retail price will be $80, $79.99. You'll get a $79.99 discount, and shipping and handling will be $6.99. So that's what you'll pay.
Okay, so essentially they're giving this thing to you for $7.
Yes, pretty much.
All right. I mean, if you want to give me one, I'll play with it.
But otherwise, he's not sure about it.
It just seems like something I don't need.
So it's called Car Thing, and that's Spotify.
I do like the name. What is it? It's a car thing.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
Well, Nikki, it's this weekend.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat!
Oh, man, I feel like I haven't even gotten into that. It's fine.
It's just like it's out there and you're just not paying attention to it.
It's just going to be there.
You haven't rewatched the trailer or listened to the interviews?
I haven't even watched the old bad ones. I haven't done nothing to prepare for this.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't want you thinking when you see it, be like, oh, Nikki says, I need to watch this because of Nikki. No, it's going to be bad.
Well, I mean, that's why we're watching it.
I think so, but I'm
not watching it because I expect it to be good.
We watch it in a bad, ironic way.
Right.
And I just want to make sure you guys are on that same page so you're not disappointed in what you think we might think is good.
So you're afraid that us talking about Mortal Kombat has made people believe that you and I are deep into Mortal Kombat lore.
Exactly.
And we can't believe that they went with that color green for the costume.
I'm just worried about that, and I don't want to hear that on Monday, how disappointed you are in my movie choices.
I got to remember that it's on this weekend.
I do, too. I'll have to set a reminder or something.
I want you to know that I continued one more month of HBO Max.
Just for Mortal Kombat?
Just for more for you than me, because I was like, listen, Nikki's counting on that. You can't let it go. She's got to watch Mortal Kombat. You got to be there for her.
I really liked Godzilla and Kong. I really liked that movie, so I feel like I'm full. Like
I've had enough to eat.
Well, I'm full of movie, and is there any other space for something that'll just make my stomach sick?
Well, you know what the problem is, at least from where I'm sitting, is that
the script. No. I'm sure it'll be.
No, I don't think so. Nikki, have you ever heard of Bill Shakespeare?
Yes.
He apparently wrote this Mortal Kombat script. So, I mean, I think we're in for something really special.
Oh, yes.
Nikki, it's a metaphor.
It is. It is.
It's a metaphor for the war that happens inside us.
That's right. And when the heart gets ripped out, like for us, it's not literally, but in the movie, it is.
Right.
It's a literal take on it.
It is. But remember, it's a metaphor. So it's like, as you see that heart being ripped out, that's a relationship that's breaking down.
Yeah.
That's what that really is.
It is. Yeah. And then the fire and all that. So.
Yeah, those are hurtful words.
Yes, that's powerful. Powerful. See? Goosebumps.
Right.
Which you'll get from the poor graphics and stuff. So.
It's going to be great.
I can't wait. Oh, yeah, something for this weekend.
Well, I just need to remember that it's there.
Yeah, I know. That is number one.
Like, I want to watch it, kind of.
I feel like maybe if I plan, like household chores around the same time, like I don't mind watching something while I'm doing something else.
Okay, sure.
I feel like this might be a good movie for that.
Okay.
Keep your mind off the movie.
I'm not going to say I watched it, but like I kind of listened to it, so I can say I saw it.
Yeah, like the main parts of it. It's good enough.
Yeah.
That's all they're looking for. Now, is that one in theaters too, or is it just HBO Max?
Yeah, no, they like everything they're doing that with. It's like in theaters and on HBO Max.
All right, everybody.
So, wow.
Mortal Kombat, that's this weekend.
Blockbuster status.
Well, maybe it'll be better than we think it'll be. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
See? Okay.
Right.
Everybody
right.
joined in there.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I guess we'll just talk about it Monday. But we have to remember that it's on this weekend in the first place.
Don't forget. Mark, put it in Siri.
Set your clocks. Oh, wait. Wrong weekend.
You thought they were bad live? Well, just wait until you hear this. The Worst of the Riot podcast with Obadiah and Nikki.
Hi, Dakota. Dakota says, didn't they move Mortal Kombat back to the 23rd?
Yeah. Okay,
And
so
did
remember...
they?
Yeah, they did. So remember
Man,
when
what
we...
the heck?
Remember when we said set your reminders for... No, we didn't say that. If you are going to set a reminder for Mortal Kombat, change your reminder and put it for next week because it's not this week.
Okay, you know what?
They don't update when you Google, the Mortal Kombat, it still says the April 16th. It's the same thing they did with Godzilla versus Kong. They don't update it there.
I saw a thing last night, and that's why it's in the show today, where it was like, hey, Mortal Kombat this weekend, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Well, so glad I wasted our time.
No, I mean, it's still next week. Why don't we just, save that news for next week and we'll remember to talk about it then.
I mean, let's see if I'm getting this one wrong. Shadow and Bone comes to Netflix this weekend, which I feel like is really...
No, that is next week. That's on the 23rd.
No! No! It's not.
It is.
The thing,
it is. It's the 23rd.
Wait, I'm clicking this thing here.
You just want to see. It should be next. It's next Friday. It's the 23rd.
I'm telling you, I swear to you, I must be dreaming. Yeah, you're right. April 23rd.
It is April 23rd. Okay, if you hear us say anything today, just add 1 week to it. Anything.
I want to throw this. I swear to you.
Did you see it? Like, did someone else have it wrong? Or were you just thinking, are you off a week?
I mean, no.
You're not
I'm not
off, you're not off a week?
I saw, okay, you know what? All right, this is where you get the thing. It's like, I saw on Twitter last night, people talking about Shadow and Bone coming out this weekend.
It's not.
I mean, obviously Twitter, not reliable, but I was like, oh yeah, okay, sure.
Everything that you think is this weekend is next weekend.
So basically, we have the weekend off.
You have nothing else going on.
Nothing. There's no reason to even live this weekend.
Well, I wouldn't be so dramatic with it.
We still
have other stuff to do, but yeah, everything else is next week.
Well, you know what? How exciting for this weekend! I'll catch up on laundry.
No, still save that for next week. You can go one more week. You don't really need to.
That's great.
Well, Dakota, thank you for the text. Anybody else can always text too. If you want to check with us on when something comes out, and then just remember, again, add a week to it because we seem to always be off.
I'm just, you know what? Everything I have here in the show notes is all suspect.
It's
all of it.
Please double check.
Suspect.
But you can text 877 to RadioU.
In case you're wondering, yes, we do get complaints.
They have gone too far. This time, they are going to be held accountable.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Okay, listen. This is like that thing where I'm like, man, I haven't heard anything about this. It's because nobody wants to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it.
I'm afraid to ask what it is.
When I saw it in the news, I was just like, no, I'm going to have to say something about this. I don't know what, but people should know. Do you know for the last 6 years in the United States, we've set a record every year.
For what?
And you're like, climate change? No. Keep going. For STDs.
Aww.
In the United States, we are in our 6th consecutive year of the highest number of STDs ever.
Yeah.
So that means if every year we say we're the most sexually transmitted diseases ever, we can say it every year.
Well,
and we're on track
to that. So
for a new one next year.
I don't know if everybody wants to be shouting about that, but I think it's good to let people know that that's a problem.
Well, okay.
That's the thing.
I think it's worth noting in a world where, at least from where I'm sitting, if you don't have COVID, it's fine.
No, there's something to say because they said it was so bad from last year, like during quarantine.
It's wild. Like we're talking about
everything else went away. The warnings for everything else went away.
I don't even say these words out loud, but here you go. 61% increase in chlamydia and a 42% increase in gonorrhea in the year. Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
So what do they say, like not having education about that during the year because everything was about COVID, or that's just always an increase?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to do a deep dive on this. I'll let you guys.
You know what? I think that's a better idea.
I'll let you guys do a deep dive on it if you want. Like there are certain demographics that are having more issues than others.
Sure.
But my perception, right or wrong, is I feel like there was a time when we were all super talky about STDs and people were like, you got to be careful. You got to be this, you got to be that. I feel like a lot of that conversation has ended. And maybe it's just that I'm not the target right now. I don't know. But like, it doesn't seem like it's as big of a deal as it once was.
Sure.
But apparently it's a bigger deal than it's ever been. We've just changed the way we're talking about it. I don't know, but I'll just tell you the statistic was enough where I was like, hey, I'm going to have to tell you.
Bring it back up.
We're going to have a conversation.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Remember Tom from, he was in Falling Up, and then he was the other thing.
Oh, Archer's Rise.
Archer's Rise?
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, his wife just opened a coffee shop.
Oh, nice.
Well, I wonder what their coffee tastes like.
I bet it's probably pretty good.
Do you want to? I just messaged him about it because he said it's in Southern Oregon, but just want to head out there today and.
Well, why don't we can always buy some from him.
Well, we could have it sent out.
Probably would be best.
I mean, it might be easier.
Might be easier than making a trip out there.
But Nikki, here's the thing: is that what we're about? You and me, we're just about doing the easy thing.
Well, our spring fundraiser starts tomorrow. We're going to be busy for a little bit.
All right.
Raising support for RadioU. So I don't know if we want to put a pin on that and wait until after. Then maybe we could go then.
Actually, I'm really glad you brought this up with the spring fundraiser tomorrow and this coffee thing, because something that I feel like we should do. Sometimes in a fundraiser, we're like, all right, we have to raise our money, but then we have this little exciting side project that if you want to give to, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't cleared this with Michael yet. But
it might be a little late. Which starts tomorrow.
Remember, forgiveness, not permission. So we're just you and I just start today.
Yeah.
Raising money for this, and the excitement level will be so high. It's going to be a wave that's going to carry us through the fundraiser.
So what do we think?
What about the Riot broadcast plane? All right. You and I get something. Doesn't have to be too big, 737, and I imagine a place we can live on the plane. It flies around the world. It's not going to be one of those never lands kind of planes.
Sure.
But we can do the show from our studio in the plane. And so anytime you and I are like, we need to go to Japan to check out blank.
Well,
turn the plane around, Captain.
Still don't feel so comfortable traveling so much. And remember how it was hard just having you do the show from home, like tech-wise?
But
how would it be in a plane?
We're going to be together. No.
How would it be to get our show to you guys if we were on a plane?
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it's not
perfect.
It's not going to be the cheapest thing we've ever done as a radio network.
And the fundraiser will have to be a little bit longer.
And our goals are a little bit higher this time. But you know what, Nikki? It's a growth year. Things are changing this year. We're coming out of the pandemic. A lot of people want to see Obadiah and Nikki flying around the world, broadcasting live from an airplane.
I don't know about that. So while I love the passion, I love the excitement, I love the desire to want to grow and get out there and do things. Just with us talking about, Southern Oregon, just getting some coffee, I don't know if that's worth the big expense of the plane and all that and just jump it into it when they could just mail it to us.
Yeah. I mean, anybody else hear the lack of vision?
I have vision.
I hear it clearly. Like it's just
it's called realistic vision. You gotta be realistic about it. I just don't want you to jump all in, because what if we don't like flying and then we get tired of it and we spend all that money?
I don't buy it.
Don't buy it?
I don't buy it for a minute. You and I riding high above the clouds. Never know it. People never know where we are. We're having adventures.
Well, here though, it's like theater of the mind. You guys wouldn't know. You'd be like, whoosh, we're flying. Like, you don't know that we're not on a plane.
Our Instagram account would be
we could fake
huge.
that too. It's fine.
Excuse me, flight attendant. Yeah, no, you could just fill it back up.
Remember when it was really popular to It was a trend. Like, people realized you could take a toilet seat, take it off, and then put it up, and then stick your head and it looks like a window to an airplane.
Yeah.
And then you can put whatever background you want in it.
Yeah.
You could totally just make your own pictures.
All right. It's great. I know. Let's just find a new way to lie to people.
The Riot Radio U.
Last night, I normally do getting ready for the show in the morning or in the afternoon for the next day. And then I'll do another look in the morning to kind of make sure we're on track. But last night I decided to do that morning look in the evening from bed. I was just laying in bed. And so I pulled open an app that I used to kind of look at the news and stuff. And what a huge mistake that was.
Oh, before bed.
What a huge mistake. I mean, it was so disheartening to just see what is going on in the world. And I walked away. Well, I guess I was laying there. So I rolled over from the news. And you know what I just thought? I was like, man, we need help. Our society needs help. And I want to be clear. I'm not against any movement or against any whatever, but all of us, we're looking at this problem. We're trying to figure out what to do. And for some people, it's we're going to change laws. For other people, we're going to do this, all these different things. In some cases, it's turnabout as fair play. You've treated me poorly. Well, now you deserve to be treated poorly. And and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And I look at it and I'm like, man, what really is the answer here? Because you can't pass a law that's going to get rid of hate. You know what I mean? You can't. You cannot make someone stop hating somebody else for stupid reasons. There's not a word you can write. There's not a thing. So it's what are we going to do? And, we got guns everywhere. We got we got all this stuff going on. And we think that we're going to fix it by legislating this or doing that. And I'm not saying we shouldn't take a swipe at it. I think it's our responsibility living in the world we live in to do the best with what we have. And you know what? If you think you've got it figured out, by all means, do your best. But here's the thing that I see is that I think that there is a sickness in the human heart. I think you and I on some level share a sickness, and it pops out in different ways. It pops out in murder. It pops out in hate. It pops out in all kinds of things. And I really honestly think that we need God. And I don't mean we need to institute some theocracy with some guy. We got to find somebody that's going to. No. I think what you and I need is not on a national level, on an individual level. I think you and I need somebody to come into our lives and teach us how to live. We need somebody to come into our life and teach us how to love. And that sickness that gives birth to all this hate and all this ugliness and all this judgment and all this stuff, we need it taken care of. And God has made a way for that. He wants us, through a relationship with Jesus, to get healed of this sickness and learn to love each other and learn how to treat other people. And that, to me, seems to be the only thing I have seen that can cure the human heart. Now, you can also say, and I'm getting long-winded, but I'm not, it's a thing. Let me talk. You could say that, well, Obadiah, I've looked at religion and I've looked at church, and that just gives birth to more hate and more whatever. To an extent, you're right. That's because people are buying into another list of rules that they're going to live by. I'm talking about a relationship with God where the Holy Spirit, God's Spirit, moves into your heart and starts showing you how to live, period. Now, well, that sounds complicated. It's actually not. And I know we can't pass a law to make everybody do it. It doesn't work that way. It's a choice you and I make, but it's the choice I'm making. And while not perfect, I do see progress. I do see God at work in my heart, helping me to do better than I did the day before. Man, start with you. If you know you need help, say, Jesus, I need that. I don't love my neighbor. I don't love the guy at work. I don't like that person because of their skin color. I don't like that person because of where they're from. Whatever it is, and say, I need your help, God. Come into my heart. Help me not to hate. Help me to learn to love. Forgive me. Show me a different way to live.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, you have ears.
I do.
You have earbuds.
I do. You mean like AirPods?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a lot of earwax in your buds?
No, not too often. We're not going to pretend like there's not anything because I
Come
think
on.
no matter what you have, there's going to be something that's human. Let's humanize that.
So let's.
Are you talking about the earbud washer?
Yeah, I am. Did you see it?
I did. It looks kind of cute. It's like this cube thing that they're trying to start selling.
It's an interesting idea. So here it is. It's on Kickstarter right now, and it's what, $33 will get you one if you go for it.
I think I'm actually more into it because it is less money than I thought it would be. I expected
Yep.
that to be way more money, but $33 is not bad.
I'm with you. I expected it to be so much more expensive than this. So what it does, it's a little cube. I don't know. What is it? I'm trying to think of what I would compare it to.
I mean, I don't know.
What's 2.5 by 2.5 by 4?
It felt maybe like a little small thing of ramen, but it's cubed, not a cup.
Yeah, okay.
Kinda.
So what you do is it's specifically for, I guess they're saying any kind of earbud, but what you do is it's got 2 or 3 things where it's powered
brush.
by electricity, and so it'll brush it off. It kind of, I don't think it blows it out, but it does something else. And then you put it down in there, and it has this foam that it rotates them against, and it cleans them up.
It tumbles around, and it's supposed to knock the wax out of it.
What?
Everybody was just more concerned, like, what does this do long term to my AirPods?
Who knows?
I want to make sure that we've been testing this a lot and enough.
This says safety
they say it's
guaranteed.
fine. Yeah.
You can use 70% alcohol as the cleaner, which is harmless to your earbuds. Here's the sound test after cleaning. Now granted, of course they would say that because
you can also just take like little Q-tips and not spend the $33 if you want to clean out your AirPods.
Well, what they're saying is, isn't this better than that?
Oh yeah.
It's like, see, this is better than that.
I guess it looked actually kind of cute.
All right. Well, you know what? It's an interesting idea to a very human problem, Nikki. The problem of your earwax.
Everybody has it.
Yep.
So what do you do?
I have earwax. I know that's hard to believe.
I know, you're just so perfect, right?
I know.
You don't have to tell everybody you have that.
So you can go ahead and, $33. It's called the Cardlax. So if you're interested in backing it or getting it, you can search that on Kickstarter.
But they said it wouldn't be till I think June or July. So it's not.
Yeah, you're not going to get it today.
It's not coming out right now.
Yeah.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
So, Nikki, have you gotten your Oculus Quest 2 yet?
I have not.
Do you know Oculus started on Kickstarter?
It did. You're right. And then, Facebook money and all.
Big Facebook paid for all that.
Big Facebook paid for all the other Oculus stuff. But I think virtual reality would be tempting. It would have to get a lot cheaper for me. And
so $300 for the Quest 2 is too much.
Just in case I don't like it, because, I don't know if I want to wear something for so long.
Well, Nikki, as long as you're willing to clean out your earbuds, you can borrow my
I can borrow yours.
Oculus
Does
Quest
it
and check
have
it
earbuds
out.
that you put in?
It does not. They have gone to these kind of speakers that are built into the straps.
Sure.
And you can plug headphones into it that obviously will sound better. But you know what? The headphone strap thing, it works pretty well.
So that's kind of all you need?
Yeah, plus it doesn't close you off from the environment. So you can hear what's going on around you. And that to me it's kind of a key feature.
Yeah, I think I'll be more into the augmented reality glasses, not virtual reality.
Well, Oculus has just announced that they're releasing their version 2.8, like version 28 update. It's
called Jelly Bean. No, just kidding.
It's adding a higher refresh support rate, which means that basically it'll be easier on your eyes one of the things that will do. And the other thing is that they're adding something called Infinite Office. They're adding features to it where you will be able to kind of like in real life, pair your real life keyboard up with your headset so that it will go like, it recognizes the head or the keyboard as an actual object. And so you can type on it and you can use it like you were sitting at a desk or a computer desk or whatever. So
can you do your emails in virtual reality or maybe? Yeah.
That's the idea. Is like you could begin to work.
Oh, here's the work.
VR.
Here's where work comes in.
Yeah. So I don't know. Might be interesting. I'll tell you, I have prepped the show in VR before. Not recently, but it was back when I don't know if it was the first or second one of the Oculuses that I got. And I was like, would it be possible to practically use this? And by the time I was done, the eye strain was a real thing.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, it was a real thing. But that tech has improved quite a bit in the last few years. And so I might give this a shot. I don't know that I want to buy a brand new keyboard in order to make it work. They say it pairs with the Logitech K830 keyboard. What does that cost? How do you... Well, can't you just Google it for me?
Well, that
or just
would
supposed
not
to
be.
highlight and right click, and then there it goes. Wow, it's only $90.
It's not the worst, not the best, but not the worst.
Sure, just go ahead and let's buy one of those.
Another 3 minutes of Obadiah talking about some tech thing he wants to buy. Worst of the Riot podcast.
So spring fundraiser starts tomorrow. Nikki, what do you feel like is the snack food of choice that we need tomorrow to kick off the spring fundraiser? Do you need me to make a run and pick something up?
No, I feel like as long as we have little snack
Zebra
cakes, just a little something, nothing too much. Snack cakes are the way to go.
You think there's any zebra cakes in this building right now?
I think we haven't gone the cabinet yet. If we go in the cabinet, sometimes they put the food in there early so we don't think to go in there. I bet you there's stuff in there.
I love when they put food out and then they just put a little thing on it that says fundraiser. And I'm just
that'll stop us.
Well,
you just open under it. You can still get in it.
The thing that always gets me is they're like, well, this is for the fundraiser. And it's like, well, you know what? We won't be here if I don't live.
So I still need to get to the fundraiser.
Technically, this takes me to the fundraiser.
We know we're truthful. It's not like we're in there eating everything. It's not like that. But you're right. The Post-it note is not going to stop a hungry DJ.
Truth be told, you put an armed guard in there. I don't know if it'd be enough.
Would just be like, hey, go over there. What's that over there?
Oh my gosh!
And then you just hear the wrestling.
There's somebody at the front door.
Oh, go! They can't come in. You just yell out COVID.
Ah!
And then you can go and eat all the snack stuff you want.
It's fine.
So hopefully, I think if that area is covered, I think we're fine for the fundraiser.
Okay. I feel like maybe we should
some
go
snacks or some wavy potato chips.
With
a dip. Oh, a dip sounds so good, doesn't it?
I don't feel like I need... Well, wait a minute.
Come on.
See, what happens is sometimes restaurants will donate. And can I just tell you right now, O'Charlie's honey mustard with a
big, hearty potato chip.
A straight kettle chip. Mm-hmm. Just no, whatever. Just, it's a kettle chip. And you dip that in there. I'm going to tell you what, there are things that you don't know about people that you experience that and it'll change your whole life. You'll start looking at everything differently.
You didn't think you could eat honey mustard that much. You'll be
eating that chip like love everybody all the time. Everybody.
That's what we expect tomorrow to be.
Okay.
So in case anybody's taking orders from the staff for tomorrow, that's a wavy, thick potato chip.
And some O'Charlie's honey mustard and some
honey
zebra
mustard.
cakes.
Oh, no, we could take, what's the one? Any snack cake. What's the one from the barbecue thing? The honey mustard.
Oh, the Ray's honey mustard?
Ray's, okay.
That's
sweet.
pretty good.
It's not sweet. Is it Sweet Baby Ray's?
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Yeah, honey mustard, that'll do too.
That's pretty good stuff.
We can pour it into a bowl and dip from there.
You know who else has a good, in the jar honey mustard is Bob Evans.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, that was my grandma's favorite. She got me hooked on that.
Aww.
So it's just, a thing.
Well, who's up to go to the break room? Let's go see what's in there now.
We really should. Nikki, I'm going to let you go because everybody likes you, and then you just do a little scouting report.
I'll let you know. Do you want me to bring you something back?
If you find something.
How to survive the riot. Do the complete opposite of everything they say. You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
Nikki, do you want Godzilla? Do you want Godzilla?
I love Godzilla.
Because this is how you get Godzilla.
You trap him? What do you do?
I'll tell you what you do. You go ahead and start dumping contaminated nuclear waste into the ocean.
Oh, I saw that.
I mean, I hate to make light of a serious situation, but I felt like the whole point of Godzilla was for us to learn our lesson about nuclear stuff.
And you feel like this could be a storyline for that?
I do! They're just quite frankly, if you go back and watch the 2014 Godzilla, part of it is about a nuclear plant that like melts down or whatever. But they've announced in Japan that they're going to start releasing the treated radioactive water from the wrecked Fukushima nuclear plant into the Pacific Ocean in 2 years. So like they're not doing it now, but 2 years from now, we're just going to start dumping irradiated water back into the ocean.
They say the water storage capacity will be full by the end of next year. The biggest complaints about this are coming from South Korea, China, and other protesters, around Japan who say this is a bad idea.
It certainly seems like a bad idea to me. Now, of course, the other side of it is I have no idea what you're supposed to do with that water.
Yeah,
no
and they're
idea.
saying it's treated. So, like, how does it change it? Like, what? Because a lot of times, guys, a lot of stuff that happens is bad, but they're like, it's just not that bad. So, like, it's the water.
AKA, they just don't tell you.
Well, like, also a little bad, they say, is okay, but it's just when it's past a certain level that they wouldn't be doing it.
Right. So they're like, hey, listen, there's no such thing as contaminated. There's levels of contamination.
Everything's contaminated in one way or the other.
Everything's got a little something in it. Even that glacier water you think is so good for you. Nah.
They say the ocean release is the most realistic option in disposing of the water. They need to do that to complete the decommissioning of the plant.
Right.
They have to dump the water to get it all decommissioned.
Yeah, so just dump it in the ocean.
Well, yeah, but again, is it safe or is it not safe?
You know what else we could do with the ocean? Why
What?
don't we just dump more of our trash in it, too, while we're done?
Well, what if you put it all in one area?
And then
Maybe it cancels each other out.
What about this? Like, you're changing your car, you're changing the oil. You just go dump that out in the ocean. No
Yeah.
big deal. I mean, the ocean's so big, I'm sure it'll take care of everything.
They say that what's in this water still is not harmful, like in small amounts, and it cannot be removed, though, from the water. So they're just trying to get it to releasable levels by next year.
Okay. I mean, I understand what they're saying is basically like, hey, we can't release any more of the radiation. We put this into the water. It vents into the atmosphere, so we all end up with a fourth eye, and that way we can equally share.
They don't know what the long-term impact on marine life would be from low-dose exposure to a large volume of this water being released. It's just unknown.
Man, Nikki, that's amazing. I mean, do you know where we could find an example of what happens when you take marine life and then you expose it to large amounts of radiation?
I'm not sure.
Can you think of any examples, any place where we might find out what could happen as a result of this?
Well, you want to make sure that they are honest and that it's safe, because if they release this water, that does affect other countries. And then fishing is the biggest thing.
Great. Well, you know what? I'm fine. I don't even like fish, so no big deal.
Doesn't affect you.
I guess I'm good.
You're good.
Till I get the radioactive rainwater from the ocean that makes its way across the continent.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
And it's the Riot. I didn't realize we were that close.
How are those pre-fundraiser chips going? We found some chips, guys!
Holy crap. Nikki went on a deep dive and found these chips in the break room for the fundraiser, which starts tomorrow.
They're
so you
so
can support
good.
now, RadioU.com/donate.
It's like a wavy waffle chip, but it's flat, and it tastes so crunchy, and it's really good.
And it has holes.
It does, yeah.
So it's like it's wavy, but there's also holes.
It's a waffle fry.
Do you know what those holes are going to be great for?
What? Oh, dipping sauce? The honey
if
mustard?
you dip them in something, that means all those holes are going to fill up with whatever sauce you're dipping in.
Well, I don't think we need to worry about it, though, because it's a small bag, and it was a lot of air.
Yeah.
If you and I end up eating this bag, we shouldn't feel bad about it, because I don't think it was very big to begin with.
Hey, guys, listen. If you and I, Nikki, end up in a meeting or whatever later, I already have it figured out what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about the fundraiser, but we needed an interesting angle to come at
for
it
you
from.
guys, yeah.
And so if we focused on the fact that we were trying these foods out because the fundraiser's tomorrow, and you didn't know we were having a fundraiser? Well, it's listener-supported Radio U, and this is a great chance for you to give. And it was our segue into just a common conversation about the fact that we were fundraising.
They can't argue with that.
I know. And I'll even go as far as to say, like, all right, is this where we are? Here's $3. Is that what you want? You want me to cover? You want me to cover the cost of the bag? Here's $3. Let's call that donation 1.
I don't know. Maybe we'll just do 5.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Right now, RadioU.com/donate. Just put in the comments, it's for the chips.
And we would appreciate that.
We'll know what it means.
How about it's chips and a song? You get one song with it. So tomorrow is, for real, our spring fundraiser. Michael will join us in the morning when we kick things off, and you can get involved early or at least check out the impact stories and hear about people in Radio U and what it's done for them through RadioU.com/donate.
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Well, I was reading here this report from Richard Novy. He's a potato breeder and plant geneticist at the USDA Agricultural Research Service in Idaho. And I don't know if you know this, but Idaho is where the potatoes grow.
I trust a potato person from Idaho.
I mean, think about this. Do you know Washington State, $11.8 billion. Idaho, $14.6 billion.
Of potato production?
Yeah, so Idaho's at $14.6 billion. Washington's number 2 at 11.2. But then look at this, 3.2 in Wisconsin. That's a significant drop in the potato production industry.
Well, they're focused on other cheeses, so.
Well, we have something to put on the fries.
Oh, gosh, that sounds good, doesn't
So
it?
These particular potatoes that we're talking about, the Russet Burbank, is a potato that is used especially to make McDonald's French fries.
I've heard of a russet potato. I think that's the most common one.
I'll just tell you this right now. They're getting my attention. Everything we said so far, they have my attention.
And they say that's the McDonald's potato. So in Idaho, they rely on water from melting snow. Oh my gosh, it sounds so picturesque, from the mountains to irrigate the potato crops. But they're saying that changes in the climate, there's been less snow, melts quicker in the past years, which has been affecting the potatoes.
They say that it's leading to a bunch of black spots on the potatoes, which is a sign that, hey, the potato is rotting. Now, I will tell you, as someone that's done some cooking, you can cut the black spot out.
Well, maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't. But for
they don't
them,
like to see that.
Well, I get it. I do. And so they're saying that global warming is killing the McDonald's French fry. Now, that is a headline that will sell.
Are you saying some people are now listening to climate change talk?
I'll just tell you right now that climate change to me, I was like, well, I'm sure it's important, but it's not affecting me. Let's dump nuclear waste into the ocean.
What sort of potato will we get then?
And now all of a sudden, if you're telling me that things are happening that are endangering the McDonald's potato, you lead with that. You lead with the fact that we have a McDonald's French fry problem, and you have America's attention.
That is. I didn't know this was how they did the water, but they say the snowpack is established by the start of April, and then it melts throughout the summer, so that is the source of water for irrigation for potatoes. But the amount of snow on top of it has dropped between 15 to 30%. Since the middle of the 20th century, they've had extreme warming areas in Idaho, and so it's been causing the potato problems.
They have a really weird, I can't remember what they're called, but if you look into it in Boise, they have these canals, which you immediately think like LA canals or something like that. But they're these big waterways that are designed for irrigation for the potatoes.
Because they know that they got to protect the potatoes.
So listen, I'll just tell you right now, somebody tell me what do I have to do to protect the McDonald's French fry, and I will do it.
Think of it as athleisure for your ears. Radio U's Worst of the Riot podcast.
I have bad news for people like me. And you're like, oh, Obadiah, you're so many things.
Which one is it?
Which one of your many problems are you referring to?
No.
I'm becoming concerned. I'm talking about people who have had COVID and have been vaccinated.
Yeah.
They now have... Now, let's keep in mind, this is one person, okay? But she had COVID. She's gotten vaccinated.
Yeah.
She's got COVID again.
Oh, she did. Yeah, it is possible. It's very hard to see. Okay, how do I want to say this? based on like TikTok. You see like everybody showing
the real news.
The real news and where we get all our stuff from and all that stuff. Okay. But it's been hard because everybody who shows that they've been vaccinated act like when they're promoting that they've been vaccinated, throwing the mask off and like, I'm free, I can go travel, I can do all this, when that kind of points a bad picture of your vaccine. You can still get COVID even if you've been vaccinated. And that is not something that is brought out as much as I think it needs to be as a healthy reminder.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind too is like, let's just say, I'm not saying don't get vaccinated, but these vaccines are new. So it's not like where,
everybody's different.
And it's not like where like you get the flu vaccine or like, I don't know, like mumps or something. Like we've been doing that for a long time. We've kind of gotten that one down.
Well, even with the flu, you can still get the vaccine and still get something with it.
Still get the flu. And so it's a very similar thing where there are different strains of COVID-19, you end up with a strain that you're not inoculated against, and you can get that strain of it again.
Or you still get it, but they hope that because you've been vaccinated that it has less impact on you. You don't get as sick. That's the real thing.
Right. I just saw this news story, and I was like, listen, don't.
Oh, that poor person's been through a lot then.
Stop. I got a week to go to get my second Pfizer. And I don't need you guys coming in here and telling me that, hey, you've gotten COVID, you're getting vaccinated, but just a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It happens to almost nobody.
Well,
we never encounter this. Obadiah, I'm sure do you have a fever right now?
You do have to be careful.
Like,
but they're saying that a lot of people who can get COVID, maybe you just never got your second dose in the right amount of time or something was off with it. But she's one of the low numbers of people who had been fully vaccinated. And then she did get the Johnson & Johnson 1-dose shot. So there's that there. So
she's got that. So she's got it again.
Aw, poor lady, man.
That's rough, dude.
You think you got it all covered, and then you go back and you get it again.
That is rough. COVID is like the weirdest thing in the world. I've got a friend of mine who has it now, and I was talking to her last night, and she was, what's today? Wednesday?
Yeah.
So like on Monday, she was like, I'm through it. I feel great. Whatever. And I talked to her Tuesday, and she's like, hello.
Oh, yeah. This stuff starts.
I was like, you all right? She's like, oh my God. No, I'm not. I was like, yeah, I totally get it.
Totally understand.
You can go, it is so weird. Like you will go from feeling great to being like, I have to lay down right now. It's weird, but I'm done with it. And I don't care. I ain't this lady. Kim, I ain't getting it. It's not happening.
Okay. And that's how we'll end that.
Her name is Kim. That's who I was talking to.
And she's in Alaska.
She is.
The riot isn't all bad, but this is the worst of the riot. Radio U.
Her name is Bridget Malcolm, and she is a model. She used to model for Victoria's Secret. And I only say that because all of the sudden that gives her some sort of credence, or like, do you know, like what I mean? If I just told she's a model, you're like, whatever. She modeled for Victoria's Secret, like, oh, she's important now.
Meaning she's modeled for some larger, like bigger companies.
Yeah, as long as you can name drop like that, suddenly I care about what she has to say. But she decided to quit drinking. And she wanted to kind of see how it would affect her life. She just celebrated 2 years of sobriety. And she's got a little checklist of things that she noticed when she quit drinking. Mm-hmm. And here we go. She said that her complexion got better.
Oh, her skin?
Her skin in general was better, and that she didn't have issues there anymore. So she was able to maintain a consistent body weight. So she said her weight would fluctuate a lot because she would drink lots of calories and alcohol. She would gain weight. And then she would stop drinking a little bit to get the weight off, and like up and down.
She was saying how it didn't seem to help with like an eating disorder sort of way of just always going up and down and being so focused on that.
She said it increased her fitness. It's led to her having a healthier diet. She said that her relationships in general are just better. She said that her sleep schedule has gotten better.
Oh, I bet.
Well, you know what's funny about alcohol is like alcohol in its early stages of you drinking, it can make you sleepy. But if you keep drinking, it'll actually keep you up.
And you're always up late drinking.
Right.
So like it just by way of when you drink, it tends to be way later at night.
She said that her concentration has gotten better. So like she can pay attention to things. She feels more self-confident. That one is interesting. More free time, she says, and her relationship with food has improved, which you were talking about with an eating disorder. So in general, it sounds like she's doing a little better without.
That's good.
I'll have to say that is a running theme. I have a few friends of mine who have quit drinking in the last couple of years, and all of them are like cheerleaders for not drinking now. They're like, oh my gosh, my life is so much better. Like, it's improved, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, everybody asked her then, said, oh, that must have meant you had a problem with alcohol. Like, when she was drinking, did she realize? And she said she used it to not cope with what she needed to cope with in her life at that time.
Yeah.
So if you kind of feel the same way, it's just an interesting take on maybe then it'd be worth trying for a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, you think about it in terms of you're drinking to escape something, so get rid of the thing that you're trying to escape, and maybe.
But I think with her,
is that what you're saying? Like,
well, with her though, a lot of people think, oh, if you're an alcoholic, then you should stop drinking. But I think what's something that you have to learn personally is, well, maybe you might not recognize yourself or think you're an alcoholic, but it might not be as bad as it could possibly be. But maybe for you, it'd still be good to try to not drink.
So even though you
don't have to all the way be on the other side in order for this to be good for you.
Even though you're not addicted, it still could be good for you to not do it.
Correct.
Okay. You know what, Nikki? That sounds like some solid advice. I'm going to consider that.
But I think that was a really brave thing for her to push out for everybody to see.
I agree. Just, again, like I have one friend in particular who last year, I mean, like I think he's been sober for 2 years now. But when he first came out, I was just surprised, but he was like, hey, I've decided I'm not going to drink anymore. And whatever. And it's been like this massively positive thing in his life. And also not an alcoholic, but something is better in its absence. So something to think about.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
Nikki, I don't like you as much since you've grown up.